is Earth. They are guessing that there may be other planets like Earth where there may be life of a different kind, not looking like us, but life, right? But so far as we know, life is only here. That is why we must respect this Earth. Very important. How life began is in the beginning when Earth was a gas and particles floating around in space. They keep spinning and spinning and spinning and become smaller and become more solid and very hot. So Earth was a burning planet. Very hot, no water. Okay? Then how the water came? You know, lots of comets and asteroids and other things floating in the space. Ah, bless you. Lots of comets came and collided with Earth. Not only Earth, but other places too, like Mars and Moon. So first Earth was made hot, burning ball of fire. There was no moon until then. Moon came later, okay? So after the Earth started to cool, in the meantime, lot of comets collided, hundreds and thousands, and comets are made of ice. Comets are made of ice. And you see, that's why when the comets come close to the sun, there's a long tail of ice becoming gas, okay, shining. So when the comets came, they brought little water, more water, and lot of water. Earth became cool, right? And still no life. Then after a few more millions of years, you see what water does. Water has a very interesting quality. It mixes things. If you put two colors in water, it will mix into become a third color, right? That's called chemistry. That's what chemistry is. You join two things, it becomes something else. So water became chemical. It will dissolve things, mix things, spread out things, okay? And the heat and the sun's energy now coming. Sun's energy coming, water is dissolving, ash and other stuff coming from stars, and everything is getting mixed up like soup. And in that soup, some microbes form, like very, very tiny, you can't even see. And then they were like sand, piece of sand or dust. And then they started moving. That took a few million years. And then they started dividing. One of them become two and become two together. Not become two and swim away. Become two and then two become four. And then it becomes something that is moving. Right? And then millions of other same kind of things start moving. And then they start joining. And then one blob will meet another blob and become something else. So life began in water. And I told you how water came on earth. Life began in water. And they become different kinds of life forms in fish. All different kinds of fish and crabs and snakes and all those things in water. Lot of life. And then how people came. People didn't come from water. Those things in those life forms in water, they at one time some of them started crawling on the ground. Many of them will die because they were living in water, not used to. But some of them could live on the ground. And then they were crawling animals, crawling insects and ants and all those things were born on the ground. And they did not go back to water now. Now they found they developed lungs that can breathe air, right? So those animals came. And then trees and forests started. And now trees will take the carbon dioxide that you breathe out and produce oxygen. So the trees became source of breathing animals. If there were no trees, if all the trees disappear on earth, everybody will die. Because you can't breathe. You can't live breathing. So trees allowed these animals to survive. And then some of them started crawling on the trees. Some of them started trying to jump. When they started trying to jump, they developed legs or wings, and some of them started to do like this, so they will fly. It's not that one day it happened, right? They jump and fall, jump and fall. Some of them jump higher, some of them jump higher and do like this, so they stay in air for a little longer. That's how birds came, right? And then monkeys and all those came. Still no people. Okay, still no people. Then the dinosaurs came. They so much fruit and vegetables and animals all around, and they kept growing and growing, keep eating and growing. Huge dinosaurs, like not only from this side to that side, but 2-3 rooms together. That huge, different kinds of dinosaurs came. And then there was, from what we know, a big asteroid hit the earth. It hit the earth somewhere in the southern part of US, Mexico. Mexico. And the whole thing started burning and covered the whole planet with smoke and ash. Dark, no sun for thousands of years. Therefore, most of the animals, especially the dinosaurs, finished. But still there is some insects, birds, some sea life, they remain. But now that there is no dinosaurs, so the others can now grow. So the 4-legged animals came, monkeys, chimpanzees, giraffes, all kinds of animals came. And then from those came a little bit, they become a little bit smart, a little bit more intelligent. So they say, well, instead of going and finding food every day, maybe we can get some food and keep it for a few days, right? So they can eat when there is bad weather or cold or too hot. So that's how the people's ideas started coming to some of those. And then they said, well, they started traveling, walking, of course, walking. So they walked from there, oh yeah, that's a nice place. So some of them lived here, some of them started living there. Still almost like animals, not like people. Then they found a place that, they can save themselves if there is some problem. They start living in caves. Okay, so with cave, they drew some things. So with the cave drawings, we know that there are some people like people used to live there. Okay? And then they became smarter. Then one day they discovered fire. 2 stones they used to rub. Sometimes they make like something to cut with some kind of weapon or a spear, or so they just sit cutting big pieces of rock, shaving like this, and some of the 2 stones rubbed it, and there was a spark, and they were shocked. Wow, this spark kind of feels hot and there's light. So they keep doing like this. So maybe a few more thousand years passed, and then they may have done this when there was some dry leaves or wood, and the leaves on wood caught fire. They said, wow, this is now burning and it feels warm. So they say, okay, when it's very cold, we can do this and feel warm. And then the light, right? Then they got some animals. Some of the animals they started keeping to grow food. They saw the fruits on the tree and something growing on the plants, and how we can grow ourselves. So they started agriculture. Agriculture meant now they can make and cook food and save it, right? So they became more people like people. Okay? So gradually, then they become form a neighborhood, from a community. They became friends. They have, So and then there is another set of caves. Then they started talking to one another. Not language, right? They just make sound, like other animals. They make sound, and gradually they went to other places. They discovered, and they become more and more intelligent. And nature was helping them. Nature was helping them, and then they started. Okay, they covered themselves with some leaves or something like that. So make a skirt like that, and they put something on the head. So then they say, that looks nice. So they did more of this. Then they started making clothes, and then they become more like people, and they start building houses and other things, and they started printing books finally after a long time. So now we can read the books, and but all this history, where you find you can find all this history in rocks. People study rocks, the shape of rocks, and different layers and colors. So say, okay, this rock, this mountain or hill, they slice it and see shapes like this, which means the mountain was bending like this and was stretching on one side. Then they see some pink rocks, some green, some blue. So they say, how do pink rocks form? So they say, well, this 10,000 years must be very cold. Then after that, this 30,000 years was warm. And then there was, if there is some drains like this on the ground, say, there must be a river here, which is dried up. There was a lake, looks like this. Oh, looks like if the water flowed, this must be a big lake, this river. So they learned about their past through rocks. Rocks tell the story of how life came. Rocks and water. Okay. And what was the second question?
No, that's next
What's
time.
the second question?
Next time, next
That
time.
I think I got it.
You got it?
Human
Okay.
partition.
That's a big
Okay.
one. That's a big session.
So